The maintenance bay hummed with the sound of plasma torches and hydraulic lifts. Millie knelt beside Edward's battered exosuit, her skilled fingers working through the damaged servo mechanisms with practiced ease. Sparks flew as she welded a cracked joint back together, the blue-white light reflecting off her protective goggles. "Hold still," she muttered, though Edward couldn't move even if he wanted to. The massive suit was locked in diagnostic mode, its pilot trapped inside until she finished the repairs. "I'm not going anywhere," Edward's voice crackled through the suit's external speakers, tinged with amusement despite their situation. "Just try not to fry any important circuits." Millie smirked. "I know what I'm doing. This isn't my first Titan-class repair." The space station orbited a dying star, serving as a neutral trading post for a dozen alien species. Humans were relatively new to this corner of the galaxy, barely 2 generations removed from their first contact. Most species regarded them with curiosity, others with suspicion, and a few with outright hostility. The repair bay's doors hissed open. Millie didn't look up, assuming it was another mechanic or perhaps a supply drone, but Edward's sensors caught the movement first. "Millie," his voice dropped to a warning tone. "We've got company." Vraxian, her hand stilled. Vraxians were trouble six-limbed insectoid warriors who had fought humanity in the border wars just 15 years ago. The peace treaty was still fresh, still fragile. "Keep working," Edward said quietly. "Don't show fear." The Vraxian approached, its chitinous exoskeleton gleaming under the bay's harsh lights. It stood nearly 8 feet tall, mandibles clicking in what might have been curiosity or aggression. Millie could never tell the difference. "Human technician," the alien's translator rendered its speech in flat, emotionless tones. "You service Terran military equipment." It wasn't a question. Millie straightened slightly but kept her tools in hand. "I'm fixing my partner's suit. We're independent contractors." The Vraxian's compound eyes reflected the light in unsettling patterns. It circled slowly, examining Edward's damaged armor. "Impressive craftsmanship. Human engineering has improved significantly since the wars." "We learned fast," Millie said carefully. She reached for a replacement power coupling, trying to ignore the massive alien looming over her shoulder. "Indeed." The Vraxian leaned closer, watching her work with unnerving intensity. "Your species adapts with remarkable speed. It makes you dangerous." Millie's jaw tightened, but she forced herself to remain calm. She reconnected the power coupling and began rerouting the energy flow through Edward's damaged chest plate. Her movements were precise, confident, a human refusing to be intimidated. That's when it happened. Her sleeve rode up as she reached deep into the suit's internal mechanisms. The Vraxian's antennae snapped forward, its entire body going rigid. "You bear the Earthborn seal." Millie froze. Her wrist, exposed now, displayed an intricate tattoo, a stylized image of Earth surrounded by mathematical equations and astronomical coordinates. It was elegant and understated, but to those who knew what it meant, it was unmistakable. Edward's weapon systems came online with a subtle whine. "Millie, get behind me." But the Vraxian wasn't attacking. Instead, it stepped back, its posture shifting into something that almost resembled respect. "You are of the first wave," the alien said, its translator somehow conveying a hint of awe. "The ones who left Earth before the contact." Millie lowered her tools slowly. "My parents were on the generation ship Prometheus. I was born in transit, 17 years before we knew we weren't alone in the universe." The Vraxian's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of agitation, or perhaps excitement. "The Earthborn are legendary among the stellar community. Humans who voyaged into the darkness with primitive fusion drives. No faster-than-light capability, no knowledge of what awaited them. Decades in the void, entire lives spent between stars. We didn't have a choice," Millie said quietly. "Earth was dying. We had to try." "But you did not know if you would survive," the Vraxian countered. "You did not know if habitable worlds existed. You flew into infinite night on hope alone." It paused, its translator silent for a moment before adding, "That is why your species frightens us." Edward's weapons powered down slightly, but he remained alert. "What do you mean?" The Vraxian turned its attention to him. "Other species discovered faster-than-light travel before leaving their home systems. We explored from safety, always able to return. But humans," it gestured at Millie's wrist, "humans launched themselves into oblivion with technology barely sufficient for the journey. The Earthborn spent their entire lives traveling at a fraction of light speed, knowing they would never see their destination. They did it anyway." Millie felt a strange pride welling up in her chest. She'd never thought of it that she'd just been born into that reality, raised on the Prometheus as it crawled through space at 0.1 to see. When we encountered the Prometheus and the other generation ships, the Vraxian continued, we realized we were dealing with a species that doesn't calculate odds the way we do. A species that chooses action over despair. It is ... formidable and terrifying, Millie suggested with a slight smile. Terrifying, the Vraxian agreed. During the border wars, we expected you to negotiate, to withdraw when faced with superior numbers. But Earthborn commanders led your fleets. They fought with the same mentality that sent them into the void, acceptance of sacrifice for future survival. Edward's voice carried through the speakers, proud and defiant. We fight like we have nothing to lose because our ancestors literally risked everything. It's in our culture now. The Varaxian's antennae drooped slightly, which is why peace was necessary. A species willing to die for tomorrow cannot be conquered today. Millie picked up her tools again, returning to her work on Edward's armor. The tension had shifted into something else, not quite friendship, but mutual understanding. The seal, the Vraxian said after a moment. It is honored in many systems. Ports give Earthborn priority docking. Trade guilds offer favorable terms. You have earned respect through your ancestors' courage. I didn't do anything, Millie said, reconnecting the final servo. I was just born on a ship. You inherited a legacy, the Vraxian replied, and you honor it through your actions. Repairing your companion's armor with such skill, remaining calm in the presence of a former enemy, bearing your mark without arrogance, these are Earthborn traits. Edward's suit powered up fully, systems coming online with a satisfying hum. He stood, his massive frame towering even over the Varaxia. We're operational, thanks to the best mechanic in 3 sectors. Millie grinned, pulling her sleeve back down over the tattoo. Flattery won't get you a discount. The Vraxian clicked its mandibles in what might have been laughter. May your stars be clear, and pilot protect her well. Mechanics of her caliber are rare. As the alien departed, Edward's external speakers crackled with relief. That was intense. Could have been worse, Millie said, gathering her tools. At least now we know the tattoo is good for something besides annoying station security. Edward's laugh echoed through the bay. Your parents literally flew into the unknown for decades. I think you can handle a curious Vraxian. Millie looked at her wrist, at the seal she'd carried her entire life. She thought of the Prometheus, still traveling somewhere out in the black, picking up new passengers at each system and continuing its eternal voyage. She thought of humanity's stubborn refusal to give up, to stay planet-bound, to accept limitations. Yeah, she said softly. I guess we can. Outside the viewports, stars wheeled in their ancient dance, and humanity newcomers and Earthborn alike continued to make their mark on the galaxy, one impossible journey at a time.